Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for yet another What We Really Learned from the last Chelsea game. This time, finally, Chelsea getting back to winning ways and getting a 1-0 victory over Fulham. Very much so, thankfully. It was a grind, let's not kid ourselves. It was a grind. It wasn't pretty, but at the end of the day, what mattered most is getting the 3 points, and that is thankfully what we did. But to dissect everything, I am not here by myself. I'm joined by the man himself. Of course, he is a regular on this channel. You should know him, but if you don't, the Grand Dam himself, Dami. Bro, how you doing?
Oh, listen, it's your boy, the Grand Dam, back again with some more sauce. You get me, man's with the homeboy, Lawrence was curling the thing. Meant to be that way, pointed that way, you get me on the right. But yeah, man's out here, understand, we're out here slaying, trying to dissect Chelsea Football Club, our boss. It's good to be back home, you understand? This is my second home right now, you know what I mean? I can come in, remove my shoes, remove my socks, cross my feet, and we can chat football, you understand?
Exactly. It's good. First of all, good to have you back. Secondly, good to finally, win again in the Premier League. Morecambe was all well and good, right? But it was the FA Cup, it was the League Two side. But in Premier League, we got a win. That's what matters most. What matters most. Of course, we're going to dissect everything. We're going to talk about team selection. We're going to talk about certain individual performances. We're going to talk about the grand scheme of things of the game. We're going to talk about what it really means ahead of the next few games, I guess. And also what an absolutely diabolical game and affair that Liverpool-Manchester United game was, which just wasted 2 hours of my life. Honestly, the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life.
That was dreadful. Jeez.
Honestly, it was so dead. Yeah, of course, United had a couple of chances in. Yeah, then clearly Cavani's a bit too old to be fed by Marcus Rashford. Even though I love Rashford, no dig, but...
Oh my God, then we're there, you understand? Somebody on the scene, I think, where did I see that? Somebody called it, what's the word? When something, man said, dude, it's on every Chelsea. Man called me a prostitute. Can you imagine? I can't be bothered. Well, out here, but now, fam, what constipation? They called it constipation football, fam. That's what they said. No movement whatsoever on the pitch. That United.
Who said that?
I can't remember who said. I think I saw it in like a comment section or something. Someone called it constipation football. That's how dreadful and stagnant that game was. But Jesus, let's chat some Chelsea, cuz. Let's chat some Chelsea.
Let's do that. Of course, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Whether you're watching this live right now or later on as a video, subscribe, smash the like button, and check out Dami, of course, his YouTube channel. Sadly, the title was already too long, so I couldn't fit his @ into the title anymore. So his link is down in the description. Please subscribe to him. The man would appreciate it, even though he's giving me all the dirty looks. But check out his...
I'm upset. It's fine.
He's upset. I'm sorry. See, sometimes you just have to upset people. Check out his Twitter as well, obviously. And I will try to get a few of the chat comments up. But if you want to make sure that I see it, please don't hesitate to use the super chat function. But of course, you don't have to. I'm not telling anybody you have to pay to be watching me. Obviously not. That's not what we're about. But yeah, let's talk about the game. And I would suggest, shall we just start with the team selection? Because that's kind of happened before the game already. Team news comes out. And I'm like, bro, what on earth is actually this? What on earth is actually this? Yeah, in hindsight, you could see Frank clearly went for experience because, he wasn't happy with how he capitulated both times we conceded 2 quick goals against Arsenal and Man City. So you understand it, but it was still weird when we saw it. It was real weird when we saw it. I mean, yeah, Mendy in goal, calm. Thiago Silva at the back bench, Chilwell at the back, all well and good. But then Vidiga comes in for Zoom, and I'm like, how's that happen then? That's quite in the team. Okay, maybe Reece wasn't quite fit yet to start. Fair enough, innit? Jorginho started over Billy Gilmore. Of course, Kante was suspended. No Havertz after I thought he had a very promising performance against Morecambe. Yes, it was only Morecambe, but hey, he has to start somewhere. You have Kovacic in there, and Kovacic has been everything but good at the moment. So I don't think Kovacic would have been any worse than Kai Havertz could possibly have been, and ended up kind of being right, I guess. Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech, and no Callum Hudson-Odoi. Christian Pulisic started, and this is no... when I constantly say I want Hudson-Odoi to start, then I would have still kept Ziyech on the other side. This is no dig and no hate on Christian Pulisic. Not in the slightest. But it's just Callum Hudson-Odoi is currently our best performing attacking player. Yeah. And to not start your best performing attacking player is a bit ridiculous. And then obviously Olivier Giroud started up top. So first of all, Dami, what did you make of the team selection? And do you have any explanations for this particular Hudson-Odoi not starting?
I don't, because a lot of people came at me talking about us resting players for the next game. Now, I said that didn't make sense in the sense that these guys have just come off like a 2-week break, more or less. Morecambe, with no disrespect to them, we're not really a position that we're going to be a massive problem or to recover from. And our team didn't even really put their feet on the gas in that game. So it's not like anybody picked up injuries or anything along that way. So I was a bit shocked there. Then, if you're telling me about resting players, why would he go out and go, Master Stevie Wonder? Why would you go out and actually start Thiago Silva then? Because Thiago Silva is the oldest of the bunch and is arguably the most important person there. So if you're resting players, why are you not chucking him on the bench as well to go sit down and relax? Because if anyone needs that rest the most, it's probably him, and he's our most fragile player. Because if he gets injured, our backline switches up seriously. And then you're telling me that we're resting players, but Callum Hudson-Odoi, he don't need to rest, cuz. You know what I mean? Why is he resting for? Man has been literally on the sidelines watching, looking with his fresh trim from his barber every week, and he's not getting onto the pitch. So it's not about the resting. So it kind of confuses my man. Is bringing up my comment I made that I kind of regret doing, but it is what it is. People want to talk about Lampard 150. I said that. I know I said that. I mean, I said it. I know I said it. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's bare frustrating. So honestly, I can't really give you an answer as to why we saw that. Maybe the only reason, maybe, and the thing is, I've not even sat down and actually thought about it, is because he wanted to get the older players in. Do you understand? Maybe that's what he wanted to do. But once again, I've not watched the game back. I can't really tell, and I'm probably not going to watch that game back because it was dreadful. So that's just my thoughts on lineup. I was quite angry with that lineup, especially Callum Hudson-Odoi. I don't think there was any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Yes, in hindsight, with how we probably, even at this point, lost the midfield battle, maybe Kai Havertz in there wouldn't have been the solution to the situation. Fair enough. But I still think he would not have been any worse defensively than Mateo Kovacic, or full stop than Mateo Kovacic was, but we would have had a bit more going forward. So I think it would have still been better to play with Kai Havertz than, have Kovacic in there, because that just really didn't make sense. But hey, let's talk about the game. The first half was weird because we didn't start well at all. I mean, Fulham was pressing us well. Lampard should go on a couple more lunches with Scott Parker so he can teach him how to press without opening yourself up completely, because they did that really well. Fair play to them. We struggled to play it out. Mendy couldn't complete a single long ball. Chilwell was struggling, left but on his own by Kovacic and Pulisic. And we were struggling. Yes, we had that chance by Giroud that Areola did well to save. But it was kind of, Fulham were the better team, I thought, in the first 15, 20 minutes. Even though we had, let's be honest, 70% possession or something, but almost all of that was between our back four and maybe Jorginho, and that was it. And it was just dead. We got a bit better, right? We created a couple of chances. Mount hit the bar, should have scored. Let's be honest. We had obviously the corner with Rudiger and the Ziyech shot from distance, which Areola again did well to save, especially to catch it. So it was getting a bit better. And then we got worse again. We became sloppy. Fulham created a really big chance, which they really should have scored.
Yeah.
Yes, it evened itself out with when we hit the bar. And then they had the man sent off. I don't think there's that much more to talk about the first half, but then they had the man sent off. First of all, quickly, red card, right? Do you agree, red card?
With the red card?
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet sort of caught. I don't know what that was all about, but red card. I mean, that red card was, the way Aspie took it, like, he made it look a lot worse than it actually was for starters. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to make it sound, but that was definitely a red card in my eyes. 100% a red card. Like, when it came in, and if man didn't get that red card, I think the game would have been completely different. Because I know Chelsea did end up having to go much more forward, and Fulham started defending a bit more. But because that man was called, it was Robertson, I think it was his name. I can't remember what his name was, but guy was giving Aspilicueta all sorts of issues. Robinson, it was giving Aspilicueta all sorts of issues. So when that tackle came in, Aspie was like, you made me, you've almost skinned me, because I'm going to milk the hell out of this thing. But that was definitely a bookable offense. You don't show your studs, you know what I mean? You don't show your studs at that speed. It looked horrible in the first time I saw it. It looked absolutely horrible. But 100% was definitely a red card offense, 100%. But like I keep saying, man, it was just one of those things where I understand a lot of people feel, we won, 100% we won. And I keep saying it's a results-based business, and we did the business against that. But that performance doesn't give me any confidence going into the game against Leicester. It definitely doesn't. So we'll just keep on. We'll see as it unfolds in it. But definitely, to get back to your main question about the red card, I do think it was definitely a red card offense. Bookable 100% should have been sent off.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I won't lie. I said this on Twitter as well. First time I've seen it, I was like, can probably give it, but I felt it was a bit harsh. But then you see it back. I still think Aspie made a lot out of it, but that's modern football. This is not criticism of Aspie at all, because Aspie wasn't hit. barely touched it. So there was no need for the screen. And that certainly helped. But like I said, it's no criticism of us. Everyone does it. If you don't do it, you're the mug, not all the other people. So that's how it is. It was a red card. When that happened, I personally didn't even feel and believe that this would change much. Because, okay, yeah, we knew Fulham would press a little bit less then. But other than their one chance, Fulham weren't creating anything anyway. And I didn't think that would drastically change. And in terms of defending, just defending a 0-0, it doesn't actually make a difference whether you're down to 10 or whether you're 11. It really doesn't change much. Maybe for set pieces, but other than that, really no difference. So all the people saying, oh, they were down to 10 men, we should have just scored. It doesn't really make a difference. Do you remember the Barcelona game in 2012? We was down to 10 men. Look at how that went. That's not what it's necessarily about if the opposition does defend well. And we go into the second half. No changes at halftime. Don't understand how Kovacic stayed on the pitch at halftime, personally. And Jorginho as well. One of them, too, in my opinion, should have come off. But nothing changes, really, for a good while. I think we'll make the first sub. In the 65th minute, what do you think about that? Tammy Abraham coming on for Jorginho to make it a 4-2-4, if you will.
I mean, I saw that and I was like, okay. You know what I mean? I saw it, I was like, okay. So maybe he's trying to take advantage of the fact that they've lost one of their players and he can afford to contribute more men than we already do into the middle of the pitch. You understand? But so I was looking at her and saying, you know what? Okay, maybe Lampard is trying something here. But at the end of the day, the game didn't really change until a specific star boy came on. You know what I mean? That's the guy that made the whole thing different. I'm sure we'll talk about him in a lot more detail. But at the end of the day, that sub was like, okay, you brought on Tammy Abraham, okay, and then what next? You know what I mean? Like, so what's happening now? You brought off Jorginho, who was losing the ball, and the midfield was obviously clearly like overrunning them because a lot of people felt, yeah, Jorginho is crap in the game. Yeah, it wasn't the best. I'd give him like a 4.5 or 5. Same with Kovacic, so maybe even a 4. But I'm of the belief that even if we put Billy Gilmour in there, because Gilmour is a small guy, Zambo and them lot at Fulham are big, strong, bulky, fast midfielders. They're going to absolutely batter any of the midfield options we have. And like Matisse said, we lack in the actual squad. You know what I mean? We lack those big. I don't know if I can
censor yourself or did you?
I censored myself in it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could. If you can I go on? Can I? You know what I was going to say in it?
Yeah. I think so. Go on.
Yeah, we lack bastards in the squad. Do you know what I mean? We actually lack that big Matic-esque player that can actually do all those type of things. So going into that game with the whole midfield setup, I was already like, this is kind of irrelevant right now. But since they weren't going to get the chance to overrun us in midfield anymore, I was like, okay, this time coming on, the substitution, the idea for the substitution was correct. Yeah. I'm big up Yusuf, what you're saying. The idea for the substitution was correct, but I felt like Callum could have come on a bit earlier. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you'd have come on instead of Tammy, but I mean, we ended up winning, so it was decent, I guess. You know what I mean?
It worked, and it was a weird one. It honestly felt not too dissimilar from the West Ham game where we didn't play well, got that goal, and then later on we should have had 2 more. Could have been the exact game. We should have in the end won that game 3-0 with the chances that we had at the very end. But no, I agree. I mean, the Tammy one didn't really change much. I did like that he went out there and didn't just stick to the same thing and tried a little something different, which made sense. We were forced to cross the ball a lot because it just packed the middle so much. There was no getting through there, let's be honest. And I guess also for the set pieces, having another tall man in there, freeing up maybe a Rudiger. Even though I do think if Zuma had started the game, we'd probably score much earlier from a corner because we had loads of corners. And, not just did we have loads of corners, pretty much every single time a Chelsea player got on the end of them, but we just never managed to direct them on target properly other than Rudiger's one. So I think with Zuma in there, just more power, more of a leap. I think we probably could have scored from a corner much earlier in the game, personally. But honestly, I mean, we discussed that already. Hudson-Odoi should have started in the first place, let alone not come on sooner, because he only came on in the 75th minute, and that was ridiculously late. And I mean, Frank goes on about these things and say, "Oh, it was so hard leaving Callum out, and this and that, and this and that." And I get it, right? I get it. And Frank has this magical power. I tweeted it yesterday. He has this magical power because he's well spoken, because he is who he is.
Yes,
he talks about the game, and I wasn't even angry, right? We still won. But I was 10 times, 20 times more happy, more pleased, more satisfied with the whole situation after I listened to his interview. Man just does things. I was like, all right, fair enough, makes sense. It honestly be like that.
He's gone to Hogwarts and patterned up his voice. Something, you done something and was like, yes, whenever I speak, people will be happy. That's why, for me, I read the quotes. You know what I mean? I don't listen to what he's saying because, tone of voice and all of that makes a difference. I can tell you to shut up, and I can be
let me tell you something. for your mental health, it's actually really good because you're much less upset about Chelsea. No, I'm telling you, it's really nice. You're just in there like happy.
True. To be maybe I might, but like for me, fam, he sells so many dreams. I don't want to start talking about the tomorrow situation and him talking about us working on stuff in training. Do you know what I mean? All those different press conferences. But yeah, I mean, you don't have a point. I might give it a try after Leicester. Let's see how that unfolds. You know what I mean?
No. We're going to win that 3-0 all calm. You don't need to watch a press conference.
3-0, brother. 3-0, yeah. I want to bet on it. 10 quid.
Now, I'm going to use the £4.99 that Dino just donated here, which I appreciate, saying yesterday's game was screaming for Havertz, a midfielder who can break the lines. How he didn't come on, I'm not sure. I completely agree. Like I said this in my preview. I said this before the game in my review as well. I think Havertz should have started. I understand why he didn't come on with how the substitutions went. Obviously, if you want 2 strikers up front, then you only have 2 centre mids. You're not going to bring Havertz on from that point onwards. Could you have argued maybe Havertz would have made more sense than Dami? Possibly so. But, I still think it was all right. I just think he should have started in the first place. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi comes on. He is that guy again. He is that guy again. He just gave us a different energy, a different dynamicism. And it isn't even the thing that Ziyech, who he replaced, was bad. I thought until Hudson-Odoi came on, Ziyech, along with Hudson-Odoi, was our best player. He kept shooting, he kept trying to create things. There was this one moment, second half, where Pulisic so close to getting on the end of one of those far post crosses. So Ziyech was trying real hard. This is no criticism of Ziyech in the slightest. Go on. I
think Ziyech's game yesterday was like, you could see him trying, but stuff wasn't just coming off. Do you know what I mean? I think his performance yesterday was, I think Mason Mount, if anything, I had probably the man of the match. I mean, he did score the goal, but I think he had the best performance out of everybody that was on the pitch. You know what I mean? Ziyech definitely could have made some impacts on the game. We could have finished some things off, and he was definitely trying some shots, but I just feel he's been hella limited on that side, man. Do you know what I mean? He's been hella limited too, and he's been reduced to something that he can when he's way much more. I saw somebody recommending or suggesting we use him in the 8th position. I'm like, cause it makes sense when you look at the actual tactic board and you're like, okay, he could actually operate in those half spaces from the number 8 position. But the way Lampard uses his 8, that RCM 8, that is not Mason Mount, is very, very counterproductive for them. Like Havertz and Ziyech, these guys can't stay in the final third and operate in between all those spaces in front of the opposition box. So for me, yeah, he was definitely there. But like, once again, he's just been reduced to a cross merchant, which he's not. Ajax, he was so much more dynamic. He was able to get some certain passes on. Look at him against Morecambe. I know it was just Morecambe, but at the end of the day, he made those sort of passes at Ajax and those defense-splitting things. But overall, that's also what I thought of Ziyech. But yeah, carry on, man. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I agree with that. I think it was also somewhat down to Fulham, though, that they just defended the central areas of the pitch so much that almost no matter who you are, you're not going to work that much down the middle. Yeah, of course, the half spaces, and I think someone like Havertz would have certainly helped. But I do want to touch on this comment that Red Pill made in the chat, saying Mount can add right centre mid, can easily occupy the wing when Ziyech comes in, plus Mount can cross. It's the way. See, I would agree with this, but it's unnecessary when Reece James is on the pitch. Because when Reece James is on the pitch, you don't need the other guy with the right foot out there to be another guy that crosses. That's why the idea will be Mount on the left centre mid, Kai on the right centre mid, so you have the opposite feet. So you have the Kai left foot, Mount right foot to come inside and then switch. Yeah, of course they can switch it around sometimes, and Kai on the left, Mount on the right, and now and again put in a cross. But it's not necessary. For the real big crossing, other than the ones that Ziyech does, we have the fullbacks. Imagine, okay, I know Ziyech comes inside, but that's why we have Reece. Of course, when Aspie plays, this is a fair point. I will admit, this is a fair point. But I think when Reece starts and Reece plays, this is not necessary, personally. But yeah, in the end, Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, let's not forget about him. Werner came on as well for audiovisual. I mean, maybe we should forget about him, but we can't. Anyways, Hudson-Odoi, in the end, is involved in a build-up. That's a little flick, a little cheeky this, a little cheeky that. Crosses it over to Chilwell, seemingly meant to cross it to Chilwell. Not really sure what he was hoping to achieve with it, but fair enough.
I think that was intentional, don't you think?
No, I agree, but he couldn't have expected Areola to make the mistake he did and need to end up.
Definitely, 100%, yeah.
Exactly. So Chilwell puts in a cross that actually, let's be honest with ourselves, was actually a poor cross. But Areola just made a mistake. Rather than tipping it over his own bar out for a corner, he tipped it out into the box.
Yeah.
Exactly, where luckily for us, there was no one but Mason Mount, who, let's give credit where credit's due, that was a really good volley. You know, those volleys are really, really easy to sky and put into Rose Ed. He even smashed it into the ground, not even just hit it well, like he hit it really well, directed it well, good enough pace on it, and put it into the back of the net. And what was it, 10 minutes to go at that point? And then we had chances, mate. We had the chances, all of the chances.
Yeah.
Pulisic plays in a beautiful pass to, actually, there was one before. Hudson-Odoi, a beautiful pass to Timo Werner. The man can't control the ball again. Let's pretend to be surprised, all right? Let's pretend to be surprised. Because it ain't happening. It just ain't happening. He can't control the ball. He can't dribble at pace. He can't pass the ball. It's mad. And then the crazier one is even because that would have been a good chance with a really good touch. And then we know how fast he is. So he could have certainly had a one-on-one.
Yeah.
But the really big one is the Pulisic pass, great, slightly chipped ball, and Werner's through. One-on-one with the keeper, obviously leaving every defender behind, then put the burners on, is there. And then he did a Morata against Arsenal. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And just curls it wide, but like not even half a yard, not a yard, like 3 yards. Like he put it so far wide, and then he just turns around, and people give this credit, right? He looked like he was used to this now. He didn't even look that disappointed. I was like, mate, you should be fuming at yourself.
You should be angry. Why you looking all like calm and like because you got a fresh trim and you shaved up your beard, you're feeling like you can just pattern up and miss any stupid chances? Of course not. But honestly, on the real, with the Werner situation, once again, I put it down to two things. Majorly his confidence, and secondly the tactics. Lampard also has something to do with this one. You know, we've spoken about Werner's positioning and all of that in the past, but confidence is so important for a striker. It's stupidly important for a striker. When someone is was he actually? I saw him down on his thing, but I don't know if he was crying. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he was crying, innit? You what?
I'm saying waffle.
Oh, right. Oh, waffle. Oh, fair play, fam. Look, feel like eating waffles tonight, you know. Some waffles and golden syrup and fried Korean chicken. Well, anyways, so basically, like I'm thinking, with confidence, when you lack confidence as a striker, it doesn't do too much good for you. I understand that he's been missing this sort of chances at Leipzig. We've seen it several times in the past. A lot of the goals he scored for Chelsea have been a lot more calm and composed. But when you pair with the fact that he's working quite hard, okay, like all professional footballers should, working quite hard, coming from the German league over to the English league, difficult period, difficult situation, switch up of tactics, all of those things, it shouldn't be too much of an excuse for not being able to finish as bad. I mean, he's literally on Morata type thing right now. He's on the Morata type beat. And somebody said something that I agreed with. The last good striker we've actually had at this football club is Diego Costa. We haven't had a striker that's as good as Costa since, 2016, 2017, whatever that was. It's been a fair good while. So, honestly, with Timo Werner, I think Frank Lampard needs to bench him, okay? He actually needs to put him on the bench and leave him on the bench. Maybe he can come on 80th, 70th minute, because, I mean, at the end of the day, to be fair, he did use all three of his strikers yesterday, and none of them really could get up and get anything done. But like I said, it still boils down to the tactics, the way we set up. I don't think we actually set up in a way that benefits those players. You understand? I don't think it benefits Timo Werner. I don't think it benefits N'Golo Kante. I don't think it benefits Kai Havertz. I don't think it benefits Ziyech. I don't think it benefits Pulisic. I don't think it benefits, what's his name? Ben Chilwell. I don't think it uses us to the best of our ability. So overall, I'm not going to make any excuses and say Lampard is the reason why Timo Werner is not converting, but he's definitely playing the part. But overall, his confidence is low, man. Literally, you know what confidence can do for you? You know when you're confident and you're bouncing up left, right, and center? For example, when I'm on top of my confidence, I can walk into Tesco's or Sainsbury's and ask a chick for a number. You know what I mean? What are you saying, Bad B? What are you saying? You're looking hella fit today, you know? Send me your number. Let me chat to you. If that's when I'm confident, even if this girl is above my league, I'm still confident. I'm going to chat to her. But now, Werner is not on that. Man can't even finish himself off. So like, at the end of the day, he can't finish nothing right now. So that's just the sort of situation we're having to deal with. So if, in order to pattern this up correctly, the same way he left Pulisic out for a few games, I think he needs to do the same sort of thing for Werner, get him back into the squad, and hopefully stuff just starts clicking off, because we need them to click off very, very soon.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, in the end, it's kind of what he did yesterday, isn't it? He left him out. He did leave him out, but I do agree with a couple of things that people are saying in the chat. I personally don't agree that him missing chances has anything to do with Lampard. What's Lampard got to do with him running straight at goal and not scoring?
Definitely.
Someone someone made a good point here as well. TK13 saying his misses haven't cost us any games. He is right. All of those games where you had the big misses, we won them anyway. Yeah. Which tells you two things. First of all, he only gets chances when we're winning anyway. And second, well, he doesn't create any chances when we struggle as a team. So, of course, I mean, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but it's just a fact.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you. The thing is, like, my discussion when I bring up these tactics is like, I don't think I'm enunciating myself. So I've been speaking for hours today. So excuse my brain lapses. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain is, if we actually all just sit down and look at it, Werner is always running into spaces. Okay. And a lot of people ask, Dami, why don't the players find those people? Why don't they find Werner in set spaces? He's always getting into good space. Do you know what I mean? One consistent thing he's had, despite the fact that he's not been playing well and scoring and converting, and his touch has been abysmal like a baby donkey. That's what it's been like recently. Despite all of that, he's been getting into excellent positions, and we're not finding him. It's not because the players don't have the technical capabilities to find him. It's because the instructions from the manager are to play the ball out wide. And you're asking Werner to finish off chances when that's not what he does. He doesn't score those walking goals. Now, once again, I keep saying, if anybody on the pitch should be able to finish off a one-touch, any sort of move, it should be the striker. If nobody can take a one-time shot, if nobody can do it, the one person on the pitch that should be able to do it is that striker in front. So once again, no excuses. But once again, go back to when he was winning penalties at the start of the season. Go back to when he was scoring all those his different goals and actually look at them. And you see that because of how we're playing, there was a lot more space. We're giving him a lot more chances. We're actually playing some vertical passes. And stuff has all just changed up now. So then once again, I'm not making excuses for his missing, because you can't excuse those misses. I can't come up with excuses for that. But I feel like stuff would be a bit better, possibly, because I mean, I'm not claiming to be a UEFA A license holder or anything. Stuff could be a little bit better if the man was being played to the best of his abilities. And like I keep saying, say the same with Kante, say the same with Havertz, say the same with Ziyech, say the same with maybe Chilwell, with Pulisic. These men are not being used to their best.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think it's a bit easy saying all of these players are not used to their best, because is it possible to use all of them at the same time to their best? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And Jose Mourinho made a statement in his press conference today, and obviously some people were taking a mick out of it. Some people were, I don't know, were giving it different kinds of reactions to it. And he said, top players will play well in any system, under any manager, in any position.
Yeah.
And if you look at the real top players, he's not wrong. You know, Lewandowski was scoring goals under every manager at Bayern. Ronaldo is doing well under every manager at Real Madrid, now at Juventus. I mean, Barcelona have had all the managers in the bloody world. Messi's doing well whenever. Obviously, these are extremely high standards to compare to. But even Eden Hazard, yes, of course, he wasn't quite getting the goal output under Mourinho that he did, for example, under Sarri, but still performing well. So these top players, they perform well under any manager. So to just say that's why someone is underperforming, I think that's a bit easy.
But that's the thing, Lawrence. These guys aren't world beaters yet. They have the potential to be. They are not yet world beaters. They are not at that stage. Lewandowski, man is 20. How old is he now? 30, 31 or something like that. Probably, He's been there for time. When all these people came into Chelsea, Mourinho gave these man that winner's mentality. Into the likes of Lampard, Drogba, Terry. He built those people up. And then the squad and the big goals. So they had that in them already. These lot, how many of these lot have won the trophy? Werner? No. Havertz? No. Do you understand what I'm saying? Has Ziyech won anything? I don't think he has won anything. I mean, how many? Maybe he hasn't won that. He hasn't won that much. I mean, it's not like I would call him a serial winner. So do you get what I'm coming from?
He's won loads in Holland, but you know.
Yeah, in Holland.
That only counts for so much. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So the thing is, even the true world-class player we do have in this squad, N'Golo Kante, he's not. Do you think? Would you say, like, and this is like is serious, like a genuine question? Would you say he's been playing world-class? Do you think he's world-class in the DM position? I don't. Do you know what I mean? I don't think so. But he, as like you said, world-class players can adapt, which is what Kante is doing. But Kante's been in the business for such a long time. So players like Havertz have the potential to be world-class. Pulisic has the potential to be world-class. Werner has the potential to be Werner is 24. Do you know what I mean? Drogba, when he came to Chelsea, was 24 or 23. And people wanted him to dip. You know what I'm saying? Like my good friend Moonstar said, when one of his friends saw Drogba Harrods and they asked, we're like, yo, what are you saying? Are you not going to leave the club? He was like, yeah, I'm probably going to leave because people thought it was crap. But here we are later celebrating this Champions League thing. So I hear that from Mourinho and I hear that from you. but these players are not yet at that level. Do you know what I mean? I understand Lampard saying, okay, you know what, they should be able to get into that, but not in this period. We're in time crunch. You know what I mean? Job crunch season, a lot of money spent season. We should be capitalizing on the fact that we spent money and others didn't season. Do you understand? There are so many different things we need to be working on right now that at the end of the day, the pragmatism would do us so much better right now. Not stubbornness, being pragmatic. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I keep saying it boils down to the actual thing. Or do you disagree?
To some extent, because, and I want to make this point, and we've kind of touched on it before, you and I talking together. Okay, for short term, it would.
Yeah.
But do we ever get to where we want to get to if we keep just being pragmatic? If we keep just looking at the short term? Whether it was Mourinho, whether it was Conte, even Sarri was realistically come here, say like, I finally got my big job. I'm getting the bloody trophy. And then, hey, if I survive for a couple of years, I'm getting as many trophies as I can. If I'm out after a year, I'm out after a year, but I'm getting that trophy.
Yeah.
And now people want to see that again. But all that will lead to is getting another manager that will want other players, that will want this, that will want that will spend money, that stops us in financial fair play. One part of the reason why we could spend so much money is because Sarri was on a much, much lower contract than the likes of Mourinho and Conte were. And he actually left to Juve, so we didn't have to pay him any compensation because we didn't sack him. He kind of left, right? And then Lampard is also on a much lower wage than these guys. And now we want to, you didn't say Lampard out, I know that's what you're saying, but still, realistically, Lampard isn't going to change what he's doing right now. We can say we want that from him, but he isn't going to. He isn't going to change that approach. So if you don't like that approach, the only option is getting rid of him. And if we keep doing that, we won't ever stop the cycle that we're in. And before financial fair play, that was all well and good. But now this is not a feasible project anymore where we will be able to keep up with the Liverpool, with the Manchester City that have stuck with their managers for 5-6 seasons. Our manager might not be as good as them, fair enough. But the situation is still this. You can't compete with teams that have been together for so long and adding a little bit here and there where they need extra quality when you keep chopping and changing and the system changes and the idea changes and the players change. I don't think that's possible.
I agree with what you're saying, but my point, like what I'm saying is like, once again, I know you didn't say I was Lampard out. I'm not saying I'm Lampard out either. And obviously, a lot of people feel like I'm being a lot negative. If you think I'm being negative, that's fine, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. But for me personally, what I'm saying is Lampard, for example, he started off this season. So what was the whole idea last year? Let's talk this 3-year plan. Yeah, 3-year plan was you come in, you pattern up the youth, ride out the wave of the transfer ban. We get all of that sorted out, and then next season we get you some more players. Okay, you start adding them into the squad bit by bit, patch them up, and then we finish. Obviously, top 4 was obviously a thing, and then we get them all on their horses. And in the third season, in that third season we go for the title. That's what everybody was saying, correct? Just let me know so if I know. Yeah. So right now, like you said, Chelsea was progressive. Now you don't want to have a manager that's just going to be so pragmatic and be like, oh, you don't want stuff to win XYZ. At the start of last season, remember when we played against Manchester United? You saw the sort of football we played. Beautiful football. We lost 4-0. The fact that I'm saying we played beautiful football in the 4-0 loss just shows you how well we actually did end up playing. We played very differently to what we're doing now. Not only that, Lampard knew that, everybody knew this was coming. We knew a freak season was imminent because of Werner. You understand? Anything was going to happen. So many different variables are here. Look at Liverpool and United with that snooze fest. You understand? Constipation FC, blood. These men were there, not moving. Nothing was happening. Needed to go get some laxatives to pattern up the thing because nothing was moving. So my thing with this whole situation is Lampard right now, okay, he saw that there was not going to be a period for him to actually implement and ease players in and actually be like, okay, you know what? This is the sort of style we're going to play by. He now went into this season. He changed up the style of football. This is not what we were playing last season. Do you know what I mean? This is not the type of football we were playing last season. And then because of that, not only did we do that, he came in and he didn't even replace players in. Last season was the narrative. The narrative last season was we'll buy world-class players or we'll potential world-class players to plug the holes, correct? That's what we said, yeah? These holes, we plugged the whole back line, okay? That was all self-explanatory. I don't think we needed time for Thiago Silva, Chilwell, or Mendy to settle. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
We didn't. Those were instant, imminent upgrades. So why would you now come in and just replace the whole thing that was occurring up front? Why would you just replace the midfield? Why would you replace the up striker up front? I thought we're easing them in. Do you get where I'm coming from? So my thing is...
But one thing I have to say there, look at yesterday's game. The only new player from, like, other than the defense that played was Ziyech.
Yeah.
He went back to those players from last season yesterday.
Yeah, he did. But my point is, like, the football has changed. So not only are the new players coming into something that is a bit different, the old players are coming into something that's different. What I'm trying to get out with this whole argument is, like, look at Klopp when he came back. I hate using Klopp to speak about Lampard because a lot of people feel like the levels and experience is different, which I 100% agree with. But look at Klopp in his first season. He came in halfway through the season. He wasn't coming in and trying to just be like, yo, he knew the situation at hand. He knew fully what situation was at hand. And he said, you know what? We're going to just grind out this season. I think they still finished 4th or 8th or something like that. I can't remember what they finished, but he just came in to sort of do like a job. My thing with Lampard is now stuff has sort of changed up. And why don't you just revert to what we're doing last season? Because it was so much better. Do you know what I mean? It was so much better. The old players know what's going on in that system as well. Ziyech and Werner and Havertz, they're not performing. Say no more. Last season, we're creating so many chances. Remember, we created so many chances, and so are we this season. So all we needed was someone to finish it off. Tammy was converting. Tammy is still converting. So why don't you play Tammy instead? Why are you playing Werner on the wings instead of Callum Hudson-Odoi? Those things don't help. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm talking about pragmatism, I'm not even saying he should go up and change and start doing counter-attacking football. Why did we change the style of football we were playing last season when we didn't have a period to actually implement what we're going on now? Some people might tell me that we used some of that football towards the end of the season. And yes, which we did, but it was not like it was even set in stone or we're prepared to use it properly. Do you get what I mean? So that's how I see the situation.
I do. But I want to ask you this. How would you describe and how would you explain last season's tactics compared to this season's tactics?
Last season, we were actually playing expansive, rapid football. The thing is, it was not even like everybody called it vibes per se. But to be fair, the pressing was better. Do you understand? The organization was better. The actual creativity, we're making more through balls. We're making more vertical passes. Now, like I said, Werner is making runs that nobody's picking up. Not because Jorginho can make those passes. Mason Mount can make those passes. Kai Havertz can make those passes. Ziyech can make those passes. All these men can make, even Kovacic sometimes can make those passes. But at the end of the day, when you instructed players to go out wide like that and keep on crossing the ball and hoping stuff to do, are you not listening to what I'm saying? Like, this man, did you not hear what I said? I'm not even going to pattern that. Honestly, Kino, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think you heard what I said, to be fair with you. Because I just said that they finished 8th. But anyways, I'm never going to attempt that. But see what I'm talking about. So we were playing so much more different football. Stuff was a lot more free-flowing and all of that. Like, but yeah, I mean, TK has a point. But do you get what I'm saying, Lauren? So stuff has changed.
I do.
Stuff
has changed, but I don't think it's as clear as you're saying. I think, yes, we have changed, but I think we have changed to the players that we had. Because, and I said this to you before, yes, we were playing a certain way last season, but I don't think last season we chopped and changed what we were trying to do all the bloody time.
Yeah.
Because we were chopping and changing to what we currently had, who was currently in form, and this and that. No, I think so, because we played this mix of 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3 all the bloody time, whether Kovacic, whether Kante was next to Kovacic or whether he was ahead of him. This whole discussion. And wings, of course we did less crossing because our fullbacks were Alonso and Aspie. So crossing wasn't even a valid option. Yes, of course, I agree. We still created chances last season. We did. But it is a similar issue as we have this season. We have two types of games. Either we create all of the chances or we create none of the chances. We don't spread it out nicely. We don't create good chances every game. Because look at, of course, at the very end against Arsenal we created. But at Arsenal, until the 75th minute, we had bloody nothing happening. Against Man City, the same thing. Even against Villa, I won't pretend to remember the entire game, right? But don't remember all of that stuff. And yes, CFC's time, I will get to it. But I think a lot of it has just changed with the players, and that just shows me that was always Frank's idea. I get what you're saying. You don't like the idea and you think it's not working, and I agree it's at times not working. I will say a few of the criticisms, though, not playing Werner on the wing because Hudson-Odoi instead of Hudson-Odoi, I agree. But that's now a month ago. There's no point like moaning about that anymore now. It's not happening right now. So you could almost argue kind of rectify that mistake now. We don't know because we're not yet in a situation where two wingers are injured and he's playing Werner over Hudson-Odoi. So we don't know that. So I don't think we should criticize that. but I do stick to my point that if Frank has this idea and he believes that it can work, it just takes time, then that's fair enough, in my opinion, because that's his job. He's, at the end of the day, he's brought in to do what he thinks best, right? Yes, get a result, all of that is well and good. But since we sacked Conte and brought Sarri in, the ethos at Chelsea has changed. It isn't, yes, of course we want to win, but it isn't just as simple as we want to go out there and win no matter what, no matter how. We moved to Sarri and then to Lampard to play differently to what Mourinho and Conte did. So, and Mourinho and Conte adapted every single game, different opponent, slightly different system. Okay, Mourinho more than Conte because Conte was just a three at the back merchant, really. And then it changed with Sarri, and then Lampard came in, and yeah, you might disagree with it, but it's still, the idea was you come in, you do what you think's best, and that's where we are. And I do agree it's been bad for a month, right? A bit more than a month, but we're still close to top four. Like, it's not like top four is out of question.
Yeah,
like I think a lot of people are a bit harsh in a way that they're talking as if we're 15. We're not 15. Like, yes, we had a bad spell, but we had bad spells under Conte, we had bad spells under Sarri, and all of us were saying the exact same things then as well. We can't create, we're too slow, we're getting hit on transition, you know, we do this too much and we do that too little. Under every manager, do we have this period where it doesn't work, where it doesn't happen? And we're not Liverpool fans, we're not Manchester United fans, but Manchester United are currently top of the league. Do you think in early autumn they weren't having the exact same complaints as us right now? I mean, look at the Manchester United fans that were calling for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked. And now the top of the Premier League, yes, they're absolutely.
I mean, they still are. They're still calling for him to get out, to be fair. Some of them are.
Yeah, that's true. But that's even more ridiculous, let's be honest. Like, I agree he's not the best manager. You can't sack a manager when you're top of the league. Like, come on now. And the same goes for, I mean, we're Liverpool fans obviously have a lot of trust in Klopp. But there is a lot of criticism for Klopp this season. I mean, that's their fourth win in a row without a win. When has that last happened for Liverpool? Right, obviously, and if you compare that to the standards that we're at right now, with what we should expect, Liverpool are struggling. Man City early in the season were struggling. Man City last season were, 20-something points of Liverpool, and they don't run around and say this is wrong and that is wrong. And you watch Man City games and you're like, what on earth has happened to Guardiola? So I don't think it's as simple as saying, oh, you know, Frank should be doing this better and Frank should be doing that better. Because, okay, what if he goes back to what you had last season? And what if that don't work either? What that then?
I mean, see, the thing is, I think the issue is I've never actually explained what angle I'm coming from. Do you know what I mean? I've never explained the angle in which I'm coming from with this conversation. For me, is like, I feel, despite everybody else's shortcomings in the league, I feel this was an opportunity to snag. Do you know what I mean? This was the opportunity where, you know what, these people haven't really spent. Maybe you might disagree with me, but you know what? These man, nobody's really spending no money, no nothing. Let's actually go out there and support this thing and get all of that sorted out. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought was also what I was expecting. And when I'm talking about the whole system change, like, Lawrence, would you agree with me when I say when we play with the 4-2-3-1 at the start of the season? Remember that? Just think of what I'm thinking about here, yeah? Because fundamentally, and that's what I said on another stream, we can change formation now, okay? But the fundamentals are still the same. When we played with 4-2-3-1 and 3-4-3, fundamentally, the football we're trying to play was still swift, expansive football. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't cross and inshallah. Do you understand? That's not what we're trying to do. Formation does play a part in how football ends up being played because, for example, 4-2-3-1 and 4-3 are very different. The passing lanes are very different. Natural passing lanes, and you've got 2 more DMs and stuff changed up a bit. The 8, the 10 is allowed to roam. All those things definitely change. But look at what happened. Don't you think Werner slotting in and getting on the end of chances that Dami was getting last season when you had to run in behind, or Ziyech on that right-hand side where Willian was? Do you know what I mean? So that is what I was sort of looking at. So for me, to be honest, man, I'm just frustrated. I can't lie to you. I'm just frustrated. I feel like we can be doing so much more. And what's even more upsetting is that Lampard was looking so much better tactically. A lot of people roast him for his tactics this year, and they say he's in and out of his depth. To be fair, with what we've seen so far, you could possibly say that. But last season, I also saw a man that had something upstairs. Do you know what I mean? See those tactical performances, like what he did against Ajax, for example. People might say we shithouse that win, but that was entertaining. Like, we were actually entertained. What we're doing now is dreadful, cause do you know what I mean? It's dreadful. People will make references to all the other teams not playing well. I understand. But there's a reason why we went out and did what we did. If anything, I think maybe these signings were to his detriment. Because for me, I feel like he's just trying to fit everybody in. When in reality, he should have been confident enough in what he was doing and just started sliding players in ever so slowly. He did it with Pulisic, and it worked well. But now, Werner, Havertz, these men are playing regardless of how well they are doing. Do you understand where I'm coming from? That is my angle. That is how I'm looking at things. It's not that I know it's a freak season. I can see the table. I mean, everybody, they have a game in hand. Now we're like, 8-10 points behind. And one or two games can change that. Do you understand? But I just feel right now, this was when you see an opportunity in the market, and you're like, let's strike. That's what I thought we were going to do this season. And we aren't doing that. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel.
But to make that happen, we would have had to sign different players. Not different ability players, but different age players. To make that happen, we would have had to sign a 27-year-old striker and a 25-year-old midfielder. Then that would have been possible. I don't think
but we kind of did that, to be fair. If you think about it, we only signed one proper youngster, which was Havertz. Werner's 24, 25.
Yeah, but you still said he's young, and that's why we can't expect him to do these things.
I mean, but you get where I'm coming from. Like,
you're
trying to catch me out, huh? You're trying to Lawrence. To be fair, but you get my drift in it. I mean, as much as I said they are not world beaters yet, you know what I mean? I don't think Werner was obviously second highest goal contributions in the whole world. You know what I'm saying? And in Europe, I mean, Chilwell, we've all hyped him up and said it was a spectacular left back, which I didn't personally agree with, but let's not get to that. Mendy was an upgrade. Thiago Silva is experienced. Mendy was experienced. Ziyech was very, very experienced. You know what I mean? We saw him at Stamford Bridge with the whole like, we all saw him, do you know what I'm saying? So the only real proper youngsters we could see are the Germans. Do you know what I mean? So even at that, even Abraham was playing with more.
They are the two positions where we were lacking the most, though.
You what? Sorry.
Okay, centre back and goalkeeper, yeah, sure. But I'm talking about because the defending, yes, it's been an issue in some games, right? Pick out 4, if you think about it, 4 games where defensive issues: City, Arsenal, Southampton, West Brom. Other than that, defensively, it wasn't that bad, right? You know, we've had a lot of clean sheets. We've had a lot of games where we defended well, and when we did concede goals, a lot of them were somewhat unfortunate or absolute screamers. So let's focus on the issues that we have attacking-wise. And the striker, the guy that's meant to score the goals, is the most important one. So saying just the Germans is still the most important one. And Havertz, our issues we had last season, we was complaining on Asari and we was complaining last season, we're not creating enough down the middle and creating enough from those half spaces. And that issue still exists. So
if Ziyech is meant to solve that, you know what I mean? That's what Ziyech meant to do as well.
Ziyech was always brought in.
Ajax, it was a bit different, you know what I mean? But no, I get you. Don't get me wrong.
No. I've got to say one thing. Ajax is different because they're playing a different league. You can play as a winger, as a 10, as a whatever position, and float around and do whatever. Watch their league. You could do whatever the hell you want there. Like it's an easy peasy lemon squeezy league. Like it's different to Fulham that get draws against Liverpool, that get draws against Spurs, that get draws against Southampton, and beat bloody Leicester, who we're apparently shitting ourselves ahead of Tuesday. And then expecting us to just play them off the park as if they're an amateur team. You know, I don't think it's just not that simple. And because CFC's time is so long ago now to comment, like, I disagree with this. I think he had this idea all along. But Dami seemingly agrees with this. But, you know, we just have different opinions, I guess.
What do you mean? Let me see that again.
Sorry. Let me get it up again. One sec. Question is, where was it now? There it is. Saying Lampard this season and last season are different. Lampard had a system he believed in. This season is trying to build a system for these players when he should have put them.
No, Lawrence. No. I didn't say no. You know, last year, like once again, the thing is that what's the system? For me, a few fundamentals have changed. 100%. There were some general fundamentals that high press. You know what I mean? High intense press last season, or like high intense press and a lot of vertical quick passing. That was the fundamental basic. I think that's changed a bit this season. If my guy was CFC time is talking about formations, oh no, that's definitely not. Like last year, he was a formation whore. Do you know what I mean? 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3, 4-4-2. What didn't he try? Do you know what I'm saying? He done everything under the sun. But yeah, look at Dino with a good super chat. What's he saying?
Exactly. Like I'm saying, the bets I can make just of what Dino has been doing is crazy. But Dino has said, cheers for your donation, bro. The signings we made are for the future, not now. Yes, the integration was quick, but they're never going to come good at the same time, and we're never going to win the league this season. I agree with this. I totally understand where you're coming from, Dami, with everyone struggling. We should have pounced on it because we were the only ones that signed players. I agree. But I think we were too far off to, even with others having a bad season, I think we were too far off to expect that. We can
To
hope
expect
for that.
what? To expect what?
To pounce on it and go for that league title properly. Which
Oh no, not league title. No, not league title. Just to be to be much better than we currently are. That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
to close that gap, innit?
Okay, but
I
that's
wasn't
just
expecting league
points
title
wise,
this season.
isn't
No,
it?
not league
Okay,
title this season.
Fair. But that's only points wise. That doesn't actually have anything to do with how you play, really. When other teams play well, while you don't face them, how you play doesn't really matter. It's just a points comparison, right? Really.
Yeah.
So a win like yesterday, hey, it's 3 points. It's 3 points. Like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't pretty, but you know, 3 points is 3 points. I think we can all agree that there are certain issues that we have going on.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is without a doubt, and I think there are question marks over certain things that we do, whether it is the crossing, whether it is a lack of things happening down the middle, and it is a question of. And I've said this to you before. I need to see what happens and it almost leaves me in a state of just unsatisfied because I sit here and I'm thinking, imagine Sarri had these players.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And we say
happy birthday, TMX. Happy birthday, man. G. Do you know what I'm saying? Big up to my guy.
Bro, my G. He's always around. First of all, happy birthday and enjoy the dinner and all of that. And take care. I'll see you next time, bro. But see, it always leaves you in this unsatisfactory situation where you're like, well, I would have loved this and I would have loved that, but we don't know whether this is actually going to happen. And I kind of want to be in a position where, like, I want to see if Frank can make it happen because I can see signs, and he's not doing this and he's not doing that. But okay, yes, he had 2 midweeks, and that's why I was more critical after Fulham than I have been recently of Frank himself, because I'm like, you can't big it up like that. How you was able to work on all these things in training now because we didn't have midweek games. I know we play equally as bad as we have done recently. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't any different. There was no different tactics. There was no better pressing, and there were none of these things happened that he bigged up so much happened in training. And I'm not even saying I'm expecting these things to be so different after 2 weeks with still a game in between, right? But then he shouldn't have picked it up like that, in my opinion. But I still believe that first of all, I think that the system he's trying to play can work. I think the whole idea that he has of playing football can work.
Can work. Oh yeah, it can work. It can work. I'm not saying so. That's why I'm saying I'm not I'm not wording myself properly. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we're kind of agreeing, and I don't know how to. We're agreeing on some of the things, but I'm not wording. I've not eaten.
No, I agree. We agree on some things, just disagree on others, isn't it?
But my thing is, I'm just saying, like, it can work, but if things are starting to, there was something to fall back on. Do you know what I mean? He came in and then he just slotted in all the new players. It wasn't like a pick by pick thing. It was like replacement. It wasn't like it fixed up specific locations, which I thought it was. Do you get what I mean? So like maybe that I'm not explaining myself too well. To be fair, that's my apologies. But yeah, I agree with you. It can definitely work in it. It can 100% work. But tactically, I'm like, is he there yet to implement it? Because the same errors are there. Look at Newman and look at his analysis on the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? They're like some consistent errors and everything. But I mean, once again, I'm waiting till the end of the season. Let's see what happens in it. Let's see what happens.
That's the thing. And Lampard says things, and we touched on this earlier with when Lampard says things.
Yeah.
But he talks about the pressing, and he talks about how it needs to be better, and especially the pressing is a very complex thing, how he wants to do it, and that takes time to get used to, especially when you don't have time to work, no preseason. And that does make sense, to me, that when Werner plays, our press isn't going to be as cohesive as it is when you have a front three that played all of last season. That makes a lot of sense to me personally. We can also not kid ourselves as much as we take the piss out of Willian in terms of pressing and offensive defending, if that makes sense, that combination of words.
Mine is talking about Robert Firmino, Firmino thing. That's what you're on.
But Willian is brilliant at that. Yeah, Ziyech is really good at it too, but maybe not quite in line with everybody else, right? But then you also see, and then I'm like, that's one of my main criticisms of when Giroud plays. I'm like, yeah, he's good in the air. Yeah, he's better at certain things than Tammy is, especially the first time finishes. But how is a press possible when bloody a children's electro scooter is bloody quicker than Giroud is? Do you know what I mean? How can he press? He's too slow to a centre back can do 3 bloody pirouettes by the time Giroud gets there. And this isn't saying Giroud is awful. He's slow, right? This is no criticism of him. It's just a fact. But if you want to press, you can't play your show striker up top. It don't work like that. And that was the same last season. You know, we was pressing early in the season, and then when Tammy's form dipped and we started playing Oli, remember what we were saying in the second part of last season? Where's the press gone? Yeah, well, because Tammy wasn't playing, and you can't press with a slow striker. It don't work. Like, tell me one team that has a slow striker that presses. One. There's none. And the closest to was probably Spurs and a Pochettino, because you could argue Harry Kane is slow. But compared to Oliver Giroud, Harry Kane is bloody Usain Bolt. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a tough one. But before we leave that today, I want to talk about a few more positive things. You know, we touched on Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, positive.
We both agreed that he has to start against Leicester, right?
If he don't start, we're going pitchforks. Pitchforks, you know what I'm saying? He dare not come and scruffing and that. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, he has to start, fam. He has to start 100%. If he doesn't start.
Instead of Pulisic.
Yeah, instead of Pulisic was hella selfish blood yesterday. You know what I mean? Hella selfish.
I think it took about 15 minutes until he touched the ball for the first time, do you know?
But that's what I'm saying. So when he did get the ball, was like, you know what I mean? He was trying, maybe not selfish, but he was trying quite hard. You know what I mean? He was trying quite hard to make stuff happen. When in reality, I mean, I saw some few magical moments here and there, but nah. Callum over Pulisic right now for me. We were actually. I mean, you man, I said that we should riot. I said it last week. You man didn't come with, so I'm not taking you seriously. I'll riot myself. You know what I mean? You man, I'm a one-man army.
Where was you? You was on the forefront. I didn't see any videos on the Twitter of you standing outside. I don't know, bloody Craven Cottage. Maybe was you the fan that Thiago Silva threw the shirt to that he's getting in trouble for now?
Oh my days! Imagine.
Is it because you know how Fulham have the construction going on? Is you just that tall that you were like popping over the construction saying, "Oi, Thiago, give me the shirt"? Actually, let me touch on that quickly as well. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. How are you getting? How is the group of humans that are tested more than anybody else in the world, footballers, like, okay, maybe politicians, but other than politicians, footballers are the most regularly tested people in the world. How are they getting in trouble for giving someone a shot? But he clearly doesn't have it now, does he?
Yeah.
All the bloody time. It's the same with them hugging. Like, okay, so no one complains about them shaking hands and hugging in the tunnel before the game. That's fine. And we know that they hug and do this and that in the changing room, on the training pitch. They sit on the coach together. They sit on planes together. No, but hugging on the football pitch when we celebrate a goal, now that's horrendous. Like, what a load of waffle. What a load of waffle. Honestly, it's a bit mad. And to be honest, I like Frank's reaction to it when this ridiculous ITV or BBC One or ITV4, whatever she was from, she was like basically like really aggressively saying the people demand that footballers are at the forefront and are, you know, a leading example for, you know, sticking to the certain rules, because everyone has to give up on things that are part of their instincts and whatever else. I'm like, first of all, what kind of instinct are you giving up on if you're sitting at home in your house? Like, what is your instinct? No one's telling you you're not allowed to go outside. If it's your instinct to go clubbing, then I don't know what you are, but maybe you're a golf ball, but you're definitely not a human.
Lawrence, that was bad. That was bad. That was something my dad would do. Oh my days.
Bro,
to be fair, it was decent, but oh my god. Lawrence, how old are you? 36.
Bro, I was thinking clubbing. I was like, what? The only thing that came to my head, like, compare with clubbing, is the bloody golf.
Was golf. Oh my god.
Do you know what I mean? Like, give me another one then. Go on then.
Club sandwich.
Am I going to say you're a sandwich, not a human?
You know what I mean? A sandwich without butter, not toasted. You know what I mean? Dry bread, brown bread from Tesco's. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm probably on. Oh my days, Jesus Christ. But nah, it's ridiculous, like you said, man. Like, once again, these men get tested so often. So often. So I don't see why hugging on the pitch is no problem. Like, they are tackling, fam. What are you saying? Like, they are racking on the pitch and you're complaining about them hugging. People are just looking for stuff to complain about, man. That's what I can see.
Just think about them being stood in the wall for a free kick. No one complains about that, do we? Anyways, I want to touch on a few positive things, especially Mason Mount. And I know I hyped it up maybe a bit much, saying Mason Mount, Chelsea's De Bruyne and whatever else. Yes, that is a bit much. I know, but you know, the YouTube titles. But he is still doing certain things that, hey, De Bruyne is doing. You know, did you see the stats of all of the passes and number of passes in the final third and into the box? He's up there with De Bruyne and Fernandes in all of them. Every single stat of these. And yes, I agree, he should play a little bit deeper. And because I would prefer Kai Havertz to play that a little bit higher. But there has been games where Kevin De Bruyne has played a little bit deeper. So I don't think this is necessarily a big thing. I don't think this
But De Bruyne is 29, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously. Exactly. But Mason is doing very, very, very good things. He said himself, he has looked at that he needs to get in the box more, that he needs to score more, that he took...
End product,
Exactly. That he took responsibility when Jorginho came off, him telling Kovacic, you stay deep, I go, taking responsibility to some extent as well. And Kovacic seemingly listening to him. Because Kovacic's second half, as much as I criticize him, second half was at least a bit better than his first half, I will say. Or at least less bad. Yeah, that's a better way of wording it. Rather than better, it was less bad. But yeah, no, Mason's doing good things, getting in good positions, shooting, he's the one guy that seemed like creating things down the middle. As much as we complained about it and say like crosses here, crosses there. First of all, we scored from crosses. Let's not forget that. So as much as we complain about the crosses, we still score from them all the time. Maybe not as much as we'd like, but we still do. He broke this 5-year chance creation record at Chelsea. He did it 6 weeks ago at Chelsea against Leeds at Stamford Bridge. He now did it away from home. Not a single Chelsea player has created 7 chances in a single game for the past 5 years, and he has done it now twice in 6 weeks. Yes, corners are part of it. We was complaining so much about Willian's corners, Fabregas's corners when he was still here. Don't be complaining about it's only because of corners. Yeah, well, Willian and Fabregas still didn't have these stats now, did they? Okay, Fabregas maybe is a bit long because Fabregas playing all the time is a couple of years ago now as well. But still, I still stand by it. I still stand by it. Mason Mount is doing things and moving in those half spaces.
Agreed.
At times, exactly how I want to see him do that, and a little bit like Kevin De Bruyne does. Will he ever become exactly that? Probably not, because he's a more intensive runner, more aggressive presser. And he's probably... Sorry. Oi, hey, calm down.
Violated.
Calm the hell down. Oi, Timo Werner has missed 10 of his last 7 big chances. Hey, the club wasn't that bad. All right, relax. Get off me.
That was I think negative points, fam. I can't lie to you. Oh my days, Jesus, that was high key dreadful. But we move regardless.
It's a bit mad. Anyway, just quickly, because obviously I spoke about Mason so much now. Do you have anything to add or to praise, to criticize, whatever?
We out here, boy. Money Maze Hive in the building, winning. People think I don't like him. I'm like, yo, you man don't know who I am, cause I built my career off Mason Mount. So you man don't even try and talk to me. But at the end of the day, I love the fact that he's doing that. I do feel like, once again, my guy in the final third, you know what I'm saying? There's more to be desired, 100%. I feel like because of what we've seen with Havertz, we'd like him to do that more. But Mason, once again, he's the only one that actually played like Lampard's job was on the line. You know what I'm saying? Always putting in the effort and everything. And I think that's why a lot of people like him. Do you know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be a good footballer, a very good footballer. Though. He just needs to add a few more things to his game and will be patterned. Do you know what I mean?
And he just turned 22 last weekend. The fact that he's already played 32 games for club and country this season, which is mental. Obviously, might be a chance he's absolutely done and finished by 30 rather than playing until 36. But, right now he's 22. Playing so many games. And people forget, when Frank Lampard joined us, he was Mason Mount's age. Obviously, neither of us are quite old enough to properly remember Frank's early days, right? But like what we hear, what we read, what we've seen in the past, it's like, people just forget things. The guy's 22 and he's obviously there is always these few critics, very loud minority critics. But if I think about it, I don't think Mason Mount had a lot of stinkers, if any, all season.
Really?
I mean, I'm sure there was a couple, right? But
I mean, maybe a few of the wing performances and a few performances.
Okay,
but
for someone
that plays as often as he does, is expected. Do you know what I mean? He plays so many games that you're expecting. Not everybody plays spectacularly well. Do you know what I'm saying? Not everybody is always on it. Look at Messi. Messi's not banging in goals every. I mean, 2012, 2011. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I can't forget that. But you get my gist. You get my gist.
91 goals in a year. That's so stupid.
That's different sauce. Do you know what I mean? That was different sauce. But you get my drift. Yeah, you get my drift. At the end of the day, like you expect that from him because obviously, once again, if you're going to keep on playing as many games as he is, then it's bound to happen. But yeah.
It's honestly, he's doing brilliant things, and who's also doing brilliant things. It's Lewis, who's saying in the chat for you guys to hit the bloody like button. So bloody do that right now. Subscribe to Dami. Like I said, link is down in the description, or just type in wait that name that you can see on his screen onto the YouTube search bar. Subscribe to him. I'm sure I'll be over there a fair few times in the future. He'll have great guests on. He'll do all the things. So make sure you do that. A couple of things I do want to touch on. I'm not 100% sure yet whether I'll talk about Leicester on here tomorrow or not, but I want to touch on Leicester with you for a second. First of all, any sort of confidence?
No.
So score prediction is an L, or is it a draw?
3-1 loss. All right, let's be positive. Let's be positive. Lewis called me Edward Dami. Jesus Christ.
You're 6'5". I think you have to go with him, bro.
You should call me Mr. Tickle instead. You know what I mean? That's what we should be on, cuz.
I don't know who Mr. Tickle is.
Mr. Tickle, he has like long, wiggly arms. You know what I mean? Like, that's gonna get clipped.
It's like comic or whatever.
Isn't it? That's what. Yeah, it's like he's like a little man. Like Google Mr. Tickle, fam. I'm serious. His jokes, honest to God. But nah.
From a different country. I don't know about them ones.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I'll allow you. I'll show you after the thing in it. But in fact, what am I saying? I can show it to you now. But honestly, because at the end of the day, for me, the way that game is looking, we didn't play against Fulham. Like the way Lampard said it, he was like, "Oh, we worked on our tactics and blah 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 blah." I was like, "Okay, you know what? I'm looking forward to this one." You understand? And by the way, this is Mr. Tickle. If my phone would focus.
All right. Yes, I agree. I mean, it's Mr. Tickle.
You know what I'm saying? That's what
I don't know. I don't know if that's better than Edward Dami. You know, I don't know what you're moaning really.
Oh my days. Well, we are cheer, fam. You know what I'm saying? But Leicester, that game, the performance didn't give me any reason to be confident going into Leicester. But I'm just going to be because I can't lie to you. Do you guys want my do you know what? Do you want my heart's prediction or do you want my head's prediction?
I want both.
My heart's prediction is 1-0 shithousery, proper Chelsea win. You know what I'm saying? But my head is telling me we're going to get piped because if Vardy's fit, we're getting piped. Hell, we're going to get brocked over and dismantled. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm hoping we win. You know what I mean? Up the Chelsea. Man is trying to be a bit positive still.
That's it. Like, that's the thing. And I said this to you in your channel last week. It doesn't really matter how you play in the last game. Like, yeah, I've said this a couple of times now. If you isolate a game, the only reason why we're like, we should play better, so we're more confident against Leicester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is
but
it.
Really,
that is it.
It doesn't actually matter. Like us, this is our opinion. But if the players can just turn up anyway, it doesn't actually make a difference. So everything could be all well and good. Do you know what I mean? We could do a Man United game and sit a bit deeper and do something different. We could go all guns blazing out of nowhere, play the best football we've played ever. And it could just be the same thing again. And it could be a close loss, close win, close whatever else. But yes, Vardy is an issue. And James Maddison is an issue. And playing a high line with Thiago Silva and Jamie Vardy playing for the opponents is an issue. Attacking fullbacks and this and that. So we will have to find ways around that. We certainly do. But see, I just try to be positive. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You go through a bad run, you see out the bad run. Of course, yeah, maybe we all hoped this would happen after West Ham. But I think all of us knew going into that Arsenal game that it just wasn't going well. We all had that bad feeling. I think all of us did. And now we had that bad run. And as we do every season, we always have a bad run. Okay, maybe not when we win the league. But other than when we win the league, we always have a bad run. And at some point, we get out of it again. And we all of a sudden play better, get better results than we kind of expect from us at times. And that's what I'm hoping is happening right now. And we kind of like had it good, like started with Morecambe, get that win. Go to Fulham, get that win. And kind of like step by step increase the level of opponent, if you will. And I'll go to Leicester and hopefully get that dub as well. I mean, we'll be bloody sick. It will be bloody sick. But the last question I'm going to put to you, bro, is what TK13 said. Does Kante come straight back in?
Yes.
As a lone DM, or do you change formation?
Yes. Let him go straight back in. Do you know what I mean? Because once again, who's he going to play with? Who's he going to play with? I think he needs to play as a lone DM. Once again, Lampard's not going to switch up his flow, like you said, Lawrence. He's not going to do that. So, because straight in.
We're not going to do it with Jorginho or Billy, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to be honest, you could just man Mark Madison with Kante and Wakam. Do you know what I mean? And see, I still think about this every now and again. The fact that we loaned out both Barkley and Ruben makes so little sense.
In it.
I mean, I understand it for Ruben, right? And obviously he played brilliantly against Tottenham, and I hope everything goes out well when he can somehow manage to fight his way back to Chelsea and actually start games next season. Be brilliant. I love the guy. My favorite Chelsea player. But we talked about lack of physicality, and bloody Horseman does things. I mean, he doesn't have a footballing brain. But when you talk about physicality, when you talk about a shot from distance, when you talk about certain things that he does well, I'd love a Barkley. I'm not saying you start Barkley every week, but have a Barkley as a squad player. I was never against in my life, personally. And then obviously once you loaned him out, I expected Ruben to stay. But physicality, when you have Barkley, against Man City last season, it was Kante, Mount, Barkley. Barkley can do all those things. And I'm not even hyping Barkley saying like he's that mad, but it would give us at least a different kind of option to what we have right now, because our options now are Gilmour, Mount, Jorginho, Kovacic. Okay, Kai is tall, but I mean, he's tall like that, like a finger, not like not a brick shithouse like Barkley. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit different. Like, how can you expect our midfield to not get absolutely annihilated by strong midfields? I can't even be mad at them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
No, I agree. Obviously, TK, you're right by this, but then we shouldn't have loaned out Ruben at the same time. And then if we loan out Ruben because he needed the loan, then keep Barkley for a year. Would have been fine. And we could be humiliated against Leicester. BJ, don't know why you called that, but C says. But it's fair enough. My prediction: 5-0 Leicester. That's a bit harsh, mate. That's it. Okay, I thought it was Kovacic. I was like, oh, I understand that then. Yeah, I think
I wouldn't have that, mate. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I wouldn't have that.
Nah, mate. Honestly, Kovacic has been pissing me off. He's been so poor. I don't understand how he started yesterday. How is that happening? Like, how he took him off at half time against Arsenal, doesn't play against Villa, plays against City, is awful again, doesn't play Morecambe, and now comes back in and is shit again. Like, why does he keep starting? I don't understand this at all. But we've been going for 1 hour and 12 minutes. It wasn't the best day in terms of live viewers, I will admit, but it is what it is. But everyone that is here right now, which is nearly 60 people, go down below and smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you again very soon. I might be back tomorrow. I don't know whether it will be with a video, a stream, or something, but I might be back tomorrow ahead of obviously the Leicester game. Like I said, subscribe to Dami, the man himself. Really appreciate you coming on, my bro. Obviously, we'll be seeing you guys on his channel again soon. You'll be seeing him on this channel again soon. Don't you worry about that at all. But yeah, Dami, any final words? I hope so.
Lampard win the block clock game.
Chelsea win the block clock game. I can't keep on doing this because I need to start smiling. I need to start hyperventilating. Do you know what I mean? I need to start making noise. I need to make people laugh. I can't keep on doing this thing because you might need to get them back winning wrong. But all right, listen. Thank you, Lawrence, for having me on your channel. You understand? It's always a pleasure. You understand? You man are going to be seeing us, our two sexy faces up on the screen a lot more at the end of the thing. But man, it's a madness. But once again, fam, thank you so much. It's your boy, the Grand Dam. You know where to find me. As I said, Lawrence has been generous with all the links and everything. So yeah, we out here, cuz. We out here.
Exactly. There we are. Cheers, Dami, for coming on. Adash has said, if I'm going to do F1 streams under these days, will be sick. Well, now is probably about the worst time to do an F1 stream because nothing's happening. I mean, there's no season currently. I might do for preseason testing at the start of the season. I've wanted to for a while, just haven't had the balls because I'm a bit scared it ruins like the algorithm and all of that crap. Because I'm like, out of nowhere talk about a different topic. So who's going to watch that knows me already? Do you know what I mean? So that's why I haven't yet. But maybe I will at some point. I will try to grow the balls until then. We'll see whether I manage to. It ain't that easy. Try growing them. I'm absolutely waffling now. I need to end this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments, your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're watching this at a later point. Like I said, subscribe to Demi, subscribe to myself, smash the like button. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Let's hope we can get that win against Leicester. And yeah, I'll see you next time.